सीआईआई एग्रोटेक ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਆਗਾਜ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਸ 'ਚ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਰਾਮਨਾਥ ਕੋविंद, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਰਾਜਪਾਲ ਵੀਪੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਦਨੌਰ, ਕੇਂਦਰੀ ਖੇਤੀਬਾੜੀ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਰਾਧਾ ਮੋਹਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਕੇਂਦਰੀ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਹਰਸਿਮਰਤ ਕੌਰ ਬਾਦਲ ਵੀ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਰਹੇ।
I thank our Honorable Prime Minister who understood the catalytic role that this ministry can play and actually made it into a full-fledged minister's portfolio only to look at this sector. And with all the support that the government has given to this ministry, whether it is the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, being the prime focus with 7 umbrella schemes under it, be it mega food parks for the big industry with a hub and spoke model where you create common infrastructure which other units can just come and plug and play, and without having to put in that entire amount of funds into creating an entire food processing industry of your own, because being a seasonal industry, it's more expensive than any other industry. So one mega food park scheme, the second being our cold chain scheme, where we're working to make a cold chain grid throughout the country for seamless transfer of food from production to consumption. The third new scheme which the ministry came up with last year was a mini food park scheme, which is called a cluster scheme, where we have mapped the entire India where there is agro-produce clusters, and we're trying to put in small mini food parks of 5 units with common infrastructure for all those agri-produce of that area. Then there is a unit scheme for people wanting to set up units in our mini food parks or the mega food parks. We offer them an incentive to set up units to populate these parks. Then we have something which directly benefits the farmers at the grassroots level, be it a single farmer or a group of farmers. The 6,000 crores of Sampada, which is going to be spent by 2020, is going to leverage at least 31,000 crores of further investment in the food processing sector, which is going to process agri-produce of almost 1 lakh crores, which used to get wasted. We're creating infrastructure to process agri-produce of 1 lakh crores, which is going to benefit at least 25 lakh farmers and create over 5 lakh jobs. So over the last 4.5 years, whereas our government and my ministry has focused on creating infrastructure to increase the processing levels, which are barely 10% when we started off at 2014, to jump much higher in the coming years. And by ensuring grounding of our food parks, whether of our 42 food parks, where we had 2 when we took over, we now have 15 which are ready, and another 15 which will be ready in another few months. Whether it's our cold chains, where we had 86 of them which were operational. Today we have 175 which are already grounded. Whether it's our cluster scheme, our unit scheme, our backward forward linkage scheme, the new scheme which was launched just last May, are already being grounded on the ground. We are also focusing on 3 main crops of tomato, onion and potato, which is a staple in almost every Indian household. The Prime Minister has given 500 crores just to focus on these 3 crops to create infrastructure to ensure that there is less wastage, to control the price volatility and ensure the farmers get proper remuneration for these 3 crops, and that scheme too is being grounded. We've also been working on creating a financial institution which will specially fund the food processing sector, because this is a sector which is growing at such a fast pace. Out of the $600 billion retail sector that we have in India, 70% of it is food retail, which is set to treble by 2020, and the demand for food is going to go up by 50% over the next 5 years. We'll take this opportunity to appeal to both the ministers of Punjab and Haryana, because these 2 states being the food bowl of India, which given the maximum contribution as far as wheat and rice is concerned, we have very progressive farmers who can be the torch bearers like they were in the Green Revolution, also to ensure from just growing how to become into a food processor, that if these 2 governments could ensure that fairs like this and fairs like World Food India are attended by all farmers across their states, by giving them concessional fares on the public transport, I think it would really transform the impact on the ground, because I have a ministry which is giving them the support and the subsidy. If we have fairs like World Food India and Agritech, which is attended by the people, by the farmers on the ground who are going to transform this sector, it can actually play an extremely important role.